Hey everyone. Welcome to another episode recap review with Reality Unloaded Podcast. It's your girl Keeks, and I'm here joined with my faves. You know, my stand-in faves, but they're my favorites too. Like everybody could be my fave. Like, relax. Don't cause beef between my hosts. All right, I need them all. Oliver and G, clap it up, snap, snap, snaps.
Hi.
And we blackity black and blackity
Yes.
black and blackity
Happy
black.
Black History
Black.
Month to everybody black,
Period. Yeah.
except the people that voted for you know who.
Right.
Exactly.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
To pay.
But
Toupee.
happy Black History Month, and congratulations to Mother
Bow, bow,
for
bow,
winning
bow, bow, bow.
Album of the Year. Finally.
Mhm.
Okay? Because it's about time. It was well overdue. She should have gotten it for self-titled. She should have gotten it for Lemonade. She should have gotten it for Renaissance.
That part.
Anyway, I didn't vote for Voldemort. Hey, so
Definitely
thank you so much
Renaissance.
for joining us. Yes, definitely for self-titled, because that really changed the game. But I'm so happy for those that didn't watch the Grammys. The Grammys was really good last night. We were literally just chatting about it. It was so good. Actually, probably one of the best Grammy nights in a long time. But if you haven't checked that out, definitely look that up. And yeah, it was a wonderful time. And you know what wasn't a wonderful time? This episode. Ugh,
It was a
guys.
chop. It was a chop. It could have been email. It could have been. I was so. We'll get
It
into it.
honestly felt like the editing was chopped. So the whole episode should have just been chopped.
Very.
It was not good.
Honestly.
I was like, so are y'all not thinking? Y'all are not thinking. The grandmother is the baby, is how it feels like. Because why? Why did y'all get that? Why did y'all get there? I'm confused. Why did the person that got banished get banished?
It definitely felt that there was some key conversations we did not get to or see.
Yes.
And instead, we spent way too much time on Tom shoveling food down his face. I'm tired.
And his
of it.
horrible takes, right?
His horrible theories that
Awful.
honestly, come on, they're just debunking it left and right. And it's just like you're telling people, stop, listen to me. Listen to you what? Tell me the wrong thing, lead me down the wrong path.
Oh my gosh. Sophie, don't be coming at me. All right. Am I watching the challenge season 40 recap with the way you talk in this episode? Or is it because of the fact that we used to shit on it? Because that's probably what it is. Yeah. Did you see the posture of Tam Sandoval hogging the food like a pig? Hey, Bloody Money. Yes, we did.
It was the hunchback. The way I was like, baby, please just pull up a seat. It's not running anywhere.
Straighten your back.
Starving.
He must have. It must have been a long day of filming because the way that man didn't even like. The chair was literally around the table. It could have been 6 steps. But no, that man was hunched over and just, I was like, you know what, babe? You do you.
Sophie, for me, I really think it was the editing that made
Yeah.
it so bad. It just,
Yeah.
there was a lot of chops. There was a lot of jumping from story to story. And we'll get to it, of course, when we discuss the episode. But yeah, that was the only reason why, me personally, I was saying that the episode, wasn't that good to me.
No, I agree. I agree with that too. The editing was choppy. Like Oliver mentioned, there's a lot of conversations that we did not see leading up to this and the outcome of the episode. But let's get right into it. So we start off the episode. The Traitors are in the turret. Carolyn is looking frazzled as ever while confronting her fellow traitors in the turret. And she's already pissed the hell off about Boston Rob. Obviously, like, throwing Bob the drag queen under the bus, but then she finds out like Danielle was coming for her, right? And she tells them, there's nobody that I want to murder other than you two right now. And you two, please don't flag us. Like, we're talking about the show, okay? Thank you. So Carolyn is pissed, and I understand why she's mad, but I'm over here like, why are y'all not attacking Rob at this moment? Y'all should be teaming up and going against Rob because y'all were on the same page, and now all of a sudden y'all have Rob y'all are doing the work for Rob. So that really bothered me. And then we see like Danielle trying to apologize to Carolyn, like, I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna make things right. Girl, how you gonna do that?
Questions that need answers, because I wanted to know how she was going to make that right as well. I was like, were you going to go back and run to everybody and tell them that, oh, I take that back? Girl, that's going to make you look even more traitorous. What you should have did, what she did do, was like apologize, I'll make it up to you, but not saying like I'll go and fix those mistakes. There's no way. There's no going back from that, which is why I understand why Carolyn was very upset. Like there was nothing she could have done, you know what I mean? Danielle, in order to help, get Carolyn's name out the radar.
The part that I want to say though is what's interesting to me is I would be very so interested to see how Carolyn was acting before and after this turret, because the way that she was running up to everybody and she was like, "So, have you been hearing my name, boo?" Like she was running to everybody outside of class, waiting for them, notebook in hand, ready to do a tally mark. Like I was like, okay, come on, hall monitor, come on, like you better do it. But I just was like, girl, you are really aggressive trying to figure out who she's told. But what was interesting is that to me, it felt like Carolyn was like, so who have you told my name to? But it didn't seem like in those conversations she was trying to disprove it. It was more so of like, okay, so now I have this for Danielle and this for Danielle, but it wasn't trying to defend yourself. That was the part that was weird for me.
Another thing about that was, last week I was saying like, hey, based off of the previews, I can already tell I'm going to be upset, with, the way the turret goes down. And what kind of opening scene turret discussion was that? I was expecting more energy. Like Caroline, you talking about you pissed, you over there staring Danielle up and down like she's crazy and all that stuff. And you were just, the way she attacked the problem or spoke about the situation, it wasn't giving the energy that they tried to give on the preview. Does that make sense? Girl, I thought he was going to come with a whole spiel. All you're saying is, I can't trust neither one of y'all. I just want to, I want to murder you two. And then no discussion about like why she did what she did. And then Danielle immediately was just like, I'm going to fix it. It was a letdown. I wanted more. Granted, I didn't want Danielle to be attacked by Carolyn, like, arguing, blah, blah, blah. But I wanted, like, if you're going to show that, then I need to hear that conversation, I need to hear them talk through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In order for me to
I agree, because it felt so quick cut to like when Rob was like, we need to work together. And then it just kind of like, I was like, wait, how did this does not the entire conversation.
Right. I agree with that.
The whole, oh, we're family, and Danielle said that, and then Caroline was like, no, we're not, and I was just like, what are y'all talking about? Like, we're a family, and we're supposed to, what? Why? This is Traitors. Like, if you want to go ahead and F me over, fine, do that. But as a traitor, we need to tell each other that we need to be communicating. We need to be sharing our game plan with one another. It just didn't make any sense to me. And the editing, I'm telling y'all, it just was really choppy. It didn't give a good intro, honestly.
I will say one of the last things like about that whole moment, I was so tired of Carolyn having her mouth open. I really wanted to just close her jaw. I was like, sis, a fly is gonna go in there. Like, close it. But okay. So they end up going back and forth on who they should murder. And then Rob gets what he wants. As always, it feels like at this point. And they go for Bob H because he was sniffing out Rob. And I was just like, why would y'all do something that benefits this man even more? Because he went on, and they even discussed the whole thing with Bob the drag queen too, right? Like, oh, well, like he never said your name. He never said your name. And he's like, yeah, he did. And we're like, no, he didn't. How many times do you have to be told that he never said your name?
It was the way he backtracked too, because like when they were like, he said one of the three of you, and then he was like, "That's still the same." It's
Yes.
insinuating, and it's like, girl, that is not what you said at the beginning. So don't backtrack.
And Caroline, weren't you defending Bob just last week, 2 weeks ago, when all that happened? She was on shut the whole entire time when Danielle was questioning him, and she was like, "Let me just be honest. Like, I'm still stuck on you doing that to Bob and blah blah blah." She was like, "No, he didn't. No, he didn't." And I was just like, "Is it the editing? Honestly, is it the editing that like they're not showing Caroline also agree? Like, yeah, you did.
Gee, Carolyn."
Whatever, Carolyn, like she also did do this, and she did defend Bob and say this, but then it was kind of like leaving her out to dry with Rob. And I was just like, where's the girl power? Like, where are the women supposed to be working together? Get this guy out of here. He does not need to be here.
Right.
Carolyn.
So, yes, Carolyn. So they go for Bob H. Bob H gets murdered. He's mad as hell. He's like, wow, like they really came for him. I understand Bob H. Honestly, I felt like that right there in that moment, considering he was vocal against Rob, I would have immediately thought the rest of the group would have been like, oh, so Rob's a traitor. But we get to breakfast with the dumbass faithfuls, because that's what they are to me at this point. And sorry, what were you going to say, Oliver? Were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I'll say my point after we get a little bit further into breakfast, but
okay,
I'm going to put a pin in it.
Okay, so Dolores and Sierra, they have shields. They're protected. Dolores is now hoping that Danielle isn't murdered because she protected her. She pretty much gifted her the shield. Sierra thinks Danielle may be a traitor because of her dramatics and the crying and the drama, And then Derek is telling a few of the faithfuls, he's like, listen, if like Oliver would like to say, a Denver Rob makes it through today, he has to be a traitor. And once Rob walks in, Derek starts smirking to himself. He's like, yeah, I'm doing the math. It's adding up. Got him. And I'm like, finally, somebody's putting 2 + 2 together, because I'm tired of y'all not sniffing this man out. Like, why would y'all not think that he would be a traitor if y'all got asked to vote him into the game and then y'all said no and then he came back? Like, and that's what Derek pretty much says. Like, hello, please make it make sense. So everyone is surprised it's Bob H. But again, if they use their brains, they would have known like it had to be Rob, considering he made a comment to Rob. And then, yeah. Go ahead, Oliver.
Okay. I was gonna say, and that's to me where the biggest like missed opportunity is nobody is talking about like okay, yeah, the shock factor of Bob H being targeted, that's one thing, but y'all are not talking about the reasoning why he was chose. That to me is like, okay, so you did step one. It's like walking. Okay, you put one foot forward. Now we need to do another foot. Come on now. Like, we need to walk with each other here. And y'all ain't walking. Y'all are just... Actually, I retract that. Y'all are walking, but it's off a cliff.
They're not walking kids in nature.
They're not. Like, hold my hand, please. Like, when I tell you this, y'all are not thinking. Like, it's not processing. And I do want to go back to Dolores real quick. Dolores. I don't know. Like, do these people forget the things that they say and the things that they do and how they are? Because Dolores, you was just blowing up Danielle's game last week. Now you got a whole confessional talking about, oh my God, I hope she stays and I hope she's good and blah, 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 blah. Like, are y'all playing this game? Like, I don't think they, I feel like it's not scripted. I know, I won't say that it's scripted, but it's giving, like, production is like, nah, don't say that. Say this. Because I'm gonna edit it like this.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's that, because Gabby, she like posted a TikTok, I think, and Gabby was talking about how like she was there, but like she feels like she was not there. Like she can't remember, like she's remembering things watching the show, and she's just like, oh, okay, So I think it could be just like they're not used to being gamers or playing a game like this, and like everything is a blur to them. So like what we would pick up as competitive, like reality TV competitive watchers or whatever, competition TV watchers, I feel like Dolores probably wouldn't pick that up because she's not used to that. Go ahead,
But
Oliver.
the only thing though, isn't Dolores a housewife?
Yeah.
See, that's where I would be like, okay, because I feel like housewives, they got to be on their P's and Q's. Because, with a housewife, if there's a season and then there's a reunion, and you got to keep that everything in your mental bank. And because
You right.
they're going to Rolodex that out and pull up a file with receipts and say, this you. So I agree. And not only that, but also, like, I imagine that the days between challenges have to be between 1 or 2 days max.
1. I think it's 1.
Exactly right, because this season's fast. And so it's like, girl, I know you did not just sit there in front of everybody, threw her under the bus, and then the next morning be like, oh my God, I would feel terrible. And it's
Right.
like,
Telling everybody at breakfast. I was like, girl, and one thing, Dolores is not, because I've been calling everybody an idiot. She's like, at least she can put things together. I can see how her thought process, she just needs time to actually reflect on what's going on. Then she'll come to, a common sense thought. But girl, this episode wasn't a good look for you. It really wasn't.
At all. And then we have like Tom talking about like he has a lot of theories, but nobody listens to him. Nobody listens to you, Tom, because you're not smart.
And you don't close your mouth when you're eating. Like, what am I going to listen to you?
I'm sorry, but like he's not smart. Because then we see one of his theories, right? His theory is this episode that Dolores is a traitor. And he goes up to Brittany and tells her this after breakfast. And Brittany's like, really?
Brittany ate him up.
Oh my God.
Her confessionals were killing me.
Yes. And Sophie, you commented on the confessional. She got a migraine while talking to Tom. Like, yes, like, what are you saying? What are you saying?
I would be the same way. I would be the same way.
Her eyes, they kept zooming in her eyes, and she was like, what are you talking to me about this?
She's like, okay. And finally we got more of Brittany this episode. Shocker.
Yeah.
She came and delivered today.
Yeah. She did, but she's also pissing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, we'll talk about it shortly. So again, after breakfast, Rob is telling Dolores and Ivor that Wes is a traitor. He's trying to set that up. Tom is trying to convince people Dolores is a traitor and failing horribly. Wes and Derek tell Tom's stupid self to get out of this conversation. He said, this is an A and B convo. See yourself out of it, Tom. Okay, get out. And they're talking about going after Rob. Then we see Carolyn and Brittany having a convo in like the second kitchen or whatever, dining room. And Brittany says that Danielle threw Carolyn under the bus. And Carolyn's like, nah, you're my number one. And this is where I was like, what are we missing? Because when did Carolyn and Britt have this close relationship? And since when was Brittany her number one?
You see what I'm saying? Choppy editing. Very
and
choppy.
Not only that, but I love how everybody is trying to be Brittany's number one, because I know it'll be later in the episode. So we have Carolyn being number one, then you have Danielle being number one, and then you have Derek's entitled ass being like, well, she's supposed to be my number one because the big brother. And it's like, girl, shut up.
And I don't think Brittany mentioned Danielle's name. She just said somebody I'm close to.
No, yeah, she didn't. You're right.
So
she admits that at the round table.
Carolyn inferred. But my thing is, like, Carolyn, you didn't even give it the day. This is another reason why I'm going back to the editing. You didn't even give it a day, which makes me think that the recording or the way that they did the formatting of these two episodes and the talks and everything in between, it's not adding up. It's not adding up to where they ended up, especially at the end of the round table, to what's actually, going on in the timeline of the episodes. It doesn't make sense. So I don't know. I didn't expect that. And Brittany, girl, who are you loyal to? Because if you're saying that you want to make it up to Danielle for what you did at Reindeer Games, why are you bringing that up why are you telling Caroline? Obviously, she's gonna infer that the person you're close to is Danielle because everybody knew, and so y'all two talking in the beginning, hashing out y'all differences. So, Brittany, yes, your confessionals, you're eating per usual, but your gameplay, I'm not. You're trying to stay low, but then you're throwing other people under the bus. Like, who are you loyal to? That's my question.
Nobody. That's at least that's what I think, that she's not loyal to anybody. But
I agree. Hey. She ain't loyal to nobody. But the problem is, though, and we'll get to it later too. When I drag Wes, because I'm gonna get Wes, you gonna get whacked. But the problem is, though, is that it's kind of the same thing with Carolyn. Yes, y'all are playing under the radar, but also y'all are isolated. Y'all don't have the people or the community to have numbers or influence votes. It ain't happening.
Yes. So let's get into the mission, right? So they're greeted by Alan and this big ass traitor. Alan explains that there are crates scattered throughout the woods, and the players would need to answer number-based questions to open these crates that have locks on them or whatever. 3 of the crates have shields. So again, not everybody's getting a shield, just 3 people, and the rest were filled with gunpowder. They need to split into 3 groups to collect enough gunpowder to make this big ass traitor explode, because I swear they love explosives on this show. You would think it was WWE with the amount of explosives and like pyro they got, but okay. So if they do it within the allotted time given, then they will win 30K for the prize pot. Cool, right? Doesn't seem that hard. So the groups are, we have Carolyn, Danielle, Gabby, Tom, and Ivor. And I'm over here like, first of all, why didn't y'all go in separate groups? All of you traitors. That was the first thing. Carolyn and Danielle, why are y'all in the same group?
Make it make sense. Honestly, that way, because everybody was had the plan to not let them know, who had the shield. So hello, but that goes to show that these traitors are not working together well.
Yeah,
and they're not playing this game
at all
in a good way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah.
So Carolyn grabs the shield, and Tom is pissed off. But I'm like, you're selfish as hell. Didn't you like carry your own little statue, or not little, but the statue figure or head and body for yourself, and you protected yourself? Like, please stop being greedy.
And you don't even need it, Tom. Nobody's worried about you.
Nobody. Everybody thinks you're faithful. A dumb one.
Him and all of his wrong theories are going to keep him safe. The babe has nothing to worry about at all.
Exactly. So then the second group is Derek, Dolores, Chriselle, Sam, and Brittany. And Derek tries to say he should get the shield because he's never had one, but then ultimately loses to rock, paper, scissors against Chriselle. And I'm over here like,
correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he technically have a shield when he came in on that second episode?
He gave, but he gave it away. It wasn't like his to keep.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, Alan said like they couldn't vote for the round table, but they also couldn't be voted for. Yep.
Because I was like, am I having selective memory or what? Because I was like,
I understand, but then at the same time, I was like, but that's y'all problem. Y'all going with rock, paper, scissors. Like, I would have been like, no. Exactly. Like, Chriselle, you're not a threat. Chriselle, they don't think that you're a traitor.
No.
So then we have the last group, which is Dylan, West, Sierra, and Rob. I don't think anybody else was missing from that group.
So I'm now realizing that Dylan is really following Rob everywhere. Like, even on his team too. Like, what new information are you going to be getting in or bringing to him? Like, if y'all working together, shouldn't y'all think to separate? Like,
right. And then
real quick,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment on Alan's outfit. Like, he's eating down this season, especially with all the blue. He knows that that's my favorite color, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put this on for G."
It was cute, the blue and brown.
I loved it.
With the socks
too, down to the socks. I was like, "Yeah." Alan's
I like
definitely
better. There were some outfits that he's already had that are better than that, but I still thought it was cute.
Of course. I still liked it.
I agree. And everybody looks crazy. Like everybody's outfits they running out of fits. Because I can really like anybody's outfit for breakfast.
Hair products.
They probably weren't expecting to last that long. Everybody who should have been staying, they got kicked out. You know what I mean? And then the people who should have been going are staying, and they're like, oh, that's why Sam keeps wearing that same damn hair clip hairstyle. Shit.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, maybe next season, if we can lower the budget on explosives and up the budget on hair products, I feel like we can meet a medium. Because some of these people's hairs, I'm like, baby,
what's happening? Yeah,
what's happening?
Did y'all think that they could finish that mission in 30 minutes that they gave them? Because at first I was like, I'm thinking of the surface area, right? Like because he was like, it's not gonna be easy, and you're gonna have to do some running and walking, trekking through the forest and stuff like that. So in my head, my lazy ass, the furthest I go is to the fridge. So like, for you to be telling me to be running in the freaking woods in 30 minutes I didn't think that they were gonna have enough time to do to collect enough gunpowder. So that's all I was like, yeah, forget this. Go get the shield and y'all figure that out. You know what I mean? Mind you,
30 minutes.
30 yeah, mind you, you know that I'm so big on like adding money to the pot, but I was like, 30 minutes. That's not enough time. But they finished it. I wasn't expecting them to. Were you guys expecting them?
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't like that far of a distance. I felt like the maps make it seem like they're much further.
That's true.
Than they are.
Do y'all know how to read a map?
Sure.
It's like a road map, but like a makeshift one like they have. I don't know about that. The thing though for me is, and I think this kind of goes back to the editing. The confusing thing about this challenge to me was everybody's confessionals. Everybody was confident that they got this. Everybody was confident. Oh, we cannot worry about the pod. We'll get that. And that's the part where I was like, did they tell you where to go? Because like y'all were really like almost cocky that y'all were gonna get this. So like it was like really kind of bizarre to me because I had the same thought as G. I was like, oh, y'all gonna be here lost in days. It's gonna be the Mole season 1, episode 1 all over again. Y'all ain't gonna know where y'all. Hello, with the damn plane cargo.
Y'all read a map.
Yeah. And so it's gonna be Joy with the airplane and the map all over again. Shout out to that show. But that's what I thought. But everybody was so confident. So I was like, oh, okay. And they did it. So
I just feel like they probably had like markers or something like that, like on the trees or something. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they weren't.
No, you're right.
The map makes it feel like so much bigger than, or like it's a lot more land than what it really is. So I was like, I mean, if they don't finish it, because it didn't seem like the gunpowder was that heavy for them to carry either. So I was just like, they'll be all right. But I do want to talk about a moment before we get away from the mission. Carolyn gets confirmation from Gabby at this point that Danielle is coming for that ass, like, or pretty much saying her name. And I was just like, but Carolyn, like, why again are you asking this? Like, aren't y'all on the same team? You know,
and
like,
also, how does Gabby know that information? Like, because I don't see anywhere that anybody that Danielle talks to is connected to Gabby in a way that they would tell her business about Danielle. So once again, the editing, y'all are gonna get so sick of me. The editing is choppy. Like,
it's
okay. It's a fair assessment. What were you gonna say, Oliver?
No, I was going to say the exact same thing as G, because like that was like the most like really egregious offense of missing a conversation. Because I don't think we've ever seen Danielle and Gabby speak, period. Let alone about Carolyn. So I was like, okay, well, that's, and again too, and that's like where I was talking about earlier about the difference of like personality, because it's like, again too, I haven't seen Carolyn talk to Gabby at all this season too. So it's like, you're coming up to me about hearing my name. That's suspicious. That's weird.
This is true.
I agree. I agree. So we get back to the castle. They won the mission. If you didn't know, they won the mission. So finally they got money in the prize pot. Good for them. And they're back at the castle. Wes tells Dolores that Tom is coming for. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I'm so sorry. So sorry. I have to laugh because real quick, they did win the money. And Alan was like, "Oh, your total is now like 100K or something like that." And then they cut to Tom, and Tom is like, and I died because I was like,
Yeah,
"Damn, that must be chump change for him."
nothing.
He was like, "Okay, like the hell, $100,000." No, I was. Tom does not make me laugh, but that made me laugh.
No, yes, I remember what you're talking about because he was also just he must be like, bro, like,
100K.
why
He was
I'm
like,
doing all
"Bruh."
this. I'm doing all this for 100K. I could just do an appearance and get 100K probably, for less hours, less work. That's what I'm thinking. He's thinking, but yes, you were so right. But okay, so we're back at the castle. Wes tells Dolores that Tom is coming after her. Dolores said something like he got mommy issues or something, and I was just like,
She said he probably didn't get enough attention in his younger years. And I
Yes.
cackled, cackled.
listen, oh my gosh. So then Wes telling Dolores and Dolores voting for Tom when he should have not said anything and get another vote against Boston Rob. Thank you, because we were gonna talk. I wanted to talk about that because what a throwaway vote. What a throwaway vote. For
All of
real.
them.
Oh my god. So Derek says, so sorry, not Derek. So yeah, Derek is starting to campaign for Rob. Carolyn is campaigning for Danielle. It's not really sticking. Wes tells Brittany that Derek is coming for Rob, and then she runs it back to Derek, and Derek denies it instead of just explaining to her and potentially getting a number from Brittany. I'm
Which
over
is
here
so
like
interesting because I thought Brittany was your number
number
one.
one.
But hold on. I might because Brittany did make a comment. It was just like, what kind of man logic is this? But I kind of got where he's coming from. If I'm observing you getting
Mm-hmm.
close to the person that I'm trying to get out, me telling you ahead of the time could have probably made Rob go and turn the whole table against Derek. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
Brittany would have went back and relayed that information. Because obviously they're having a relationship. There's something Brittany knows something, y'all, and or she knows who the traitors are. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think to me, I feel like she chose to be on the good side of Rob so that he doesn't mess up her game. The same concerns Danielle was having as well about Rob is the same. This is why I think like Brittany knows more than whatever they're showing us and more than whatever she's leading on to. So
Yeah.
I agree with Derek. Like I wouldn't have said anything. If I'm seeing you get closer to the person that I'm trying to get out, you're going to go tell them. Granted, yeah, you're supposed to be my number one, but yeah, I'm the only one thinking that, right? So obviously
Mm-hmm.
you didn't go and tell her. So it made sense, his reasoning to
I get
me.
it, but I felt like he had the ability to convince her and to get her on his side because she was like, "I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you." And clearly, we see it later on in the conversation. She's like, "Why did you lie to me? You could have just told me," kind of thing. And granted, he's like, "Well, now I think you're a traitor too." And I was just like, but like I just feel like considering y'all are both BB, y'all should have uh capitalized on that relationship more.
I agree with that, but I don't think it would have worked
Okay.
because I feel like Brittany is definitely the type of person to go with the numbers. And
Oh,
she
And
knows
that's
that's
fair.
and
that
that's
Rob has numbers.
and
That's
that's the
fair.
Derek does
problem.
it. Especially
That's
because
where
Bob exposed them. I do apologize. Especially because Bob exposed them, saying that, it's one of those three guys, potentially to look for. So Derek could have definitely, if he did say something, I feel like it was just messed up everything. And I think he played it right in that aspect to me. But I don't
Hmm.
know.
I see both sides of it. I still am in the team of being honest because again, I think that it is a numbers game and it's all about momentum. If you have momentum going into the round table, then that force is not going to be able to be stopped. And that's where I feel like where Derek messed up because it's like you were giving too many opportunities to stop that momentum and going forward. Because again, if you do go up to like Brittany and being like, hey, yeah, I am gonna press Rob like that, then it's like, okay, I'm prepared for it. But it's also like, all right, so everybody else, you must have it's kind of like that bluff game where he's like, okay, so if you're gonna bring this up to the round table, you must have enough people to back you up. And so it's like, okay, now I can get behind it. Now, here's the problem with this entire castle in this season. I'm calling this season the season of petty because the petty spirit is dancing from person to person. Because how are you going to go in your mind and being like, oh, I lied to somebody and she didn't vote the way I wanted to, so I'm going to think she's a traitor. And then for that person, you're having a conversation, well, I think you're a traitor. It's just this spirit of petty is driving me up a wall. And we'll get to Carolyn because Carolyn is the biggest offender right now.
I got Petty LaBelle for real.
Petty Johansson.
I lived for Derek calling her, maybe you're a traitor. I liked it. It just brought more
me too.
to it. I was like, well, maybe you are a traitor.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
Rob? Like, how are you like people need to think ahead. Y'all want to save Rob so that he doesn't come after you, but y'all keep saving him. He's gonna have to come after you at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. And so, also saving him when they have the opportunity to flip on him.
Yes.
And that's gonna be my my biggest conspiracy theory. Because G, I am 100% with you. Brittany absolutely knows who the traitors are. I think when she told Derek, I don't think Rob is a traitor, that was a lie. Yeah. I think that was a flat up lie. Yeah. Because I think she's aware of, okay, if I'm not going after the traitors, obviously they're not going to target me for a murder. Right. Yes. So let me try and ally with them. And then when the time comes, I'm going to strike.
Mm-hmm. Let me just highlight some comments. Music Neurons, did you all see Suri ask to teach a Traitor 101 class?
She needs to.
Yeah, she does. Cause wow, they're not understanding.
And let me say this real quick. For this season, she needs to train them this season. Because last season, the Traitors, they did a good job.
They did a decent job, yeah.
It's a mess, honestly.
Yeah, it's bad. Like everybody's sniffing them out. Or they're just, throwing each other under the bus. So Boston Rob only does well when the show is fixed on his favorite. Yeah, we know.
I'm gonna get to that.
Honestly, I don't blame Brittany siding with Boston Rob over Derek. It's like a Freddie versus Jason situation. That's fair.
I agree.
And then Carolyn really said, I'm quirky and I'm not like the other girls. I am weird. She really did. She really did. I'm quirky.
I was like,
I don't fit in.
That's not an excuse.
I don't fit in the real world nor in this castle. Like, okay, Carolyn. Okay. So, at this point, like, we have that conversation of like Brittany and Derek. Derek's coming for Rob. He denies it. Brittany, whatever. You do you, girl. Then Chriselle warns Rob that people are saying his name. And I'm over here like, Chriselle and Rob, we are also missing this alliance right here because there's this dynamic.
No, we're not missing it. We're not missing it. We saw this dynamic building last week.
We did. But I feel like for her to continuously still go to Rob, I'm like, what is he like? Okay, he must be feeding her or like trying to help her navigate the strategy that comes with the game because she is so willing to tell Rob info. She's spilling the info to him. She's willing to trust him. And I'm like, I don't know why you're so willing to trust him. Like, I would have been looking at the three men all sideways, considering that they're such legends, right, in their games.
Agreed. And I'm going to take it back to, I feel like Chriselle had a really hard time with the whole Nikki vote. And Rob was the only one, from what they showed us, that really helped her, I guess, build that confidence to actually bring it up at the table. Right. I feel like if they didn't have that conversation, if she didn't have that conversation with Rob, and Rob didn't do his ways that he does, she would have never brought that up at the round table. But she still also would have trusted him, because she knew that, like, oh, I can talk to him, he can talk me through my thinking process and things like that, and, you know, be able to help me with that. And I feel like that's where the bond and the loyalty comes from. Same thing like with Dylan. Dylan was like, yeah, you helped me get a traitor before and you did it. Like, what? Why is that the reasoning? Why is that the reasoning?
Right. But speaking of roundtables, let's get into the roundtable. So Dolores, she's the one that ignites the fire, or she starts it off.
Please. Can we talk about how funny that was? And how, because this was the round table everybody wanted to get to. Do you understand? Yeah. Everybody was like, yeah, I'm speaking at this round table. Yeah. And then here comes Dolores. She said, I'll start it off. Mind you, I'm thinking like, I was like, okay, you're going to start it off. You're going to go at Rob or Danielle. Somebody, like, you're going to go at them. Shorty said, she put it all the way back to Tom. I said, who the hell cares?
Who cares?
What killed me the most was how they set this up, because Alan was like, the floor is yours. It was crickets, 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 crickets. And then like Dolores said, I'll start it off. And she's like, and this will be quick because it don't make sense. It just was like, girl. I was like, stop. He's already in the ground.
She said, listen, Tom, you're dumb. You're dumb and you're a horrible faithful.
It was the callback too. She was like, somebody help me. What did Bob say? It was like, girl, stop.
Yo, Dolores had me weak.
Yo.
And she was like, you know, I'm talking about you, Tom. Tom was like, yo, I was dying laughing. This
because she was so serious. She was like, it's you that I'm talking about. Like, okay. Like, he really must have felt like scolded. And he just sat there, and I was just like, bro, like, it was just so funny that Derek obviously saying like, all right, we're wasting too much time on this irrelevant shit. Let's actually make sense of this, you know, actually throw a legit name out there. And honestly,
that was the funniest part, because Derek knew, he was like, I understand this is all for show. Okay, y'all got your 5 minutes. Now let's actually get onto the main entree.
And Dolores was quick to move on too. She was like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
She's like, absolutely.
Girl, you knew you embarrassed yourself. Like, you knew that was not the time.
It was just so unnecessary. Like, Dolores, everybody knows Tom is a faithful. Like, please, he's not smart enough to be a traitor. But anyway, so then.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, then what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Mary's comment. Dolores went easy on Tom. From the franchise. Well, she comes from the franchise where they flip tables. And
she's from New Jersey, no?
I know that, and I watched the Jersey Housewives, and I know that.
I'm from Patterson.
She's still the same, honestly. I feel like she's.
That's Teresa. We from the same place, Teresa.
And I don't expect Dolores to be going off like the rest of the housewives, except for like when she's really, really mad. But Tom, I'm not gonna. Why would she let Tom get her upset?
Right. I mean, either way, like he affected her so much, she threw her vote at, oh my God. Anyway, let's move on. So Derek starts clocking the fuck out of St. Louis, Rob. Clocking. I said, dang, he said it all. He said, listen, it had to be you. You are the traitor, because why would they bring you back into the game and not make you one? Then Rob uses a line from Bob. Now he calling Derek misguided as well. I said, so
royalties. Bob better get royalties for that.
I said, Bob, you better check him. You better check his ass. Not him playing you, literally banishing you, making sure you got out of the game and then using your lines because he wasn't quick on his feet. Okay. So then Rob flips Derek, calling him out, and says he's hearing multiple names and it's from Wes. And I said, oh, baby, Wes, you're in trouble. And then you got the Bambies. You got freaking Gabby and Chriselle saying, yeah, because Wes, you're a little aggressive. Da, da, da. And I'm over here like, okay, I know what kind of player Wes is because I've watched the challenge my whole life. We didn't see Wes aggressive at all. This is actually the most tame I've ever seen Wes. So now I'm confused.
Agreed.
How
In 20 years, I've never seen this man more tame and more mild in my life.
You see,
So
we're
I'm
missing
like,
something.
we're missing stuff. And I'm over here like, bro, like, I'm not understanding where y'all getting this idea or why do y'all have this impression of him? Is it because y'all know y'all seen the challenge yourselves and have seen when Wes was on the show, especially his younger days, him being such a douchebag? Because then I would understand holding that impression of him. But I was just like, or, having that bias of him. But like, I was very confused by that. So I'm over here like, okay. But then Wes, you dug yourself an even deeper hole by threatening the group and saying that you're going to comfort. I said, Weston, do you want to go home to your baby and your wife? Because that's what it feels like.
And see, this is where I'm going to whack him good because, I understand your game, Wes, and you were playing it pretty well in the beginning, gathering up and trying to, herd the cattle and actually lead them to something meaningful. But why are you trying to threaten, especially in this game where numbers matter? The numbers are the most important thing of this entire game because you need the numbers to go and vote. So why are you over here threatening, literally setting fire to every single vote you could have had? Because the other thing too that irritated me about this is not only are you fucking yourself over, you're also fucking over Derek. And it's just like, where was this mentality here? Because you could have actually literally methodically thought out, because you could have drugged London Rob from London to Tokyo with his whack ass reasoning that he gave from out of his ass. Like, listen, he pulled that from thin air and shit, and it was awful, that explanation. But Wes, you know better. You know better. And the gag is that Rob's defense was ass. And for you to pull that was like, that's sad. That fact that you couldn't even like amount to nothing. You couldn't amount to nothing and you just wanted to threaten the entire group. Like, girl, that is so sad. This is worse than you were 2 months ago when you were on both knees begging for a vote that you couldn't get.
No.
This was worse.
No. That wasn't worse. That wasn't worse.
It wasn't worse.
It wasn't worse. But close enough.
I had to whack him for that. One more time.
No, let's continue to whack Wes, because Wes, did you give up? Did you know that you wanted to go home? Like, what was it? Because no player like you, the way that I perceive you, would have let anybody throw him under the bus like that, lie on his name like that without even deflecting properly. And then your immediate go-to is like, yeah, I'll come after all of you. Like, you weren't, I'm not asking him to be remorseful. I'm asking him to be a game player, like that he says he is, right? A strategist that he says he is. Rob's explanation, just like you said, Oliver, made no sense, y'all. What was his defense? His defense, to me, from what I gathered, was Ivar. And I was like, Ivar? Why do you keep saying Ivar's name? Where does he, because he's the most faithful. So I knew that if I came in with Ivar, then I wouldn't have been seen as whatever the hell y'all, it didn't make any sense to me. And I watched the episode like 3 times. I still don't understand what Rob was trying to say in that situation.
Go ahead, Oliver.
So
go ahead,
go and just like let it go that easily after, like you said, he didn't even have a good defense for himself. Did you want to go home, Wes? That's my question. You were sick of this?
The only thing Wes needed to say to really nail in the coffin is Wes all he needed to say was, I told this theory to Derek, boom, boom, and boom. And who's left? Who just got murdered? Bob H. And who was I with? Him. That's all Wes needed to say.
And
that
who else was in the room?
Boom.
Tom and Dylan and Sam's ass. Oh my God, Sam. I almost forgot about that.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes. No, because then another thing that bothered me too was I was just like, okay, Wes, you threw out there that Rob literally said, let's get the drag queen out after that mission, right? And I felt like nobody questioned that. Like, I felt like Derek didn't defend Wes in that moment, and he could have. And he literally, like, and then let's get into the fact that Carolyn decides to take this moment to go against Danielle instead of her and Danielle coming to terms and thinking, no, let's get Rob out. This is the perfect time. He played us with Bob. Let's get him out. But
I will say Danielle was probably thinking that. She definitely was thinking that. But Caroline, yeah, I'm gonna say your name that way because, girl, you were not thinking. You're not a Survivor player. Like you're not getting that.
And that's the most embarrassing part about it. Is like, girl, you were on Survivor. Like, again, the spirit of petty is doing too much because, again, in just like the Traitors, Survivor is all about the votes. Who is gonna vote for Danielle at this roundtable? Who? Quickly. Like, that's the reason where I just was sitting there and I was like, girl, what's the point?
And it goes back to Keeks saying, like, people are just throwing away votes. What are you doing? You're throwing away. Honestly, I don't even care about the voting and things like that. I want more time for them to deliberate. Do you understand? So yeah, Dolores, you wasted our time with that. Okay. And then now we're back at freaking Derek, Rob, and Wes, and y'all are wasting your times with terrible explanations, terrible defenses, and then you didn't even Wes, you didn't even defend yourself properly, and then we got Caroline and Danielle going back, waste of time completely. Which also goes back to us saying the editing, it makes it seem as if this is for Rob. And I want to go back to that comment that I forgot. I think it was Sophie that said, or Mary, like, they're producing this in the likeness of Rob, and it's just so easily, like, I can see it. It's messing with me because now it's starting to make me question production, and I don't really do that with Traitors. I don't really question, like, if production is having some sort of, like, hands in the jar, you know?
Yeah, like favoritism when it comes to Rob. Yeah. I was really annoyed by that. And yeah, I was really annoyed by Carolyn bringing it up because I was like, I understand like you trying to get back at Danielle, but like, why this way right now? Why? When, like, read the freaking room, Carolyn. Like, you're playing too emotional. And I hate to say that you're playing based on emotion, like, especially to another woman. But like, please focus. Like, your focus should be getting out Rob, considering he's running the turret. He honestly doesn't even need y'all at this point because y'all are following his lead.
And the gag of it all is you're from the same franchise as him, and you just gonna let him have, like, again, I understand you want Danielle out, but you just gonna let that man go through. Just skate.
And let's walk it back a little bit too. Rob said someone's been saying your name Danielle, your name Caroline, your name Derek, your name Dolores. Why is he bringing you up? And also Danielle, which is why I'm glad Danielle did what she did. Why are you mentioning us? It goes back to you're being a hypocrite because you're saying that Bob the drag queen, said, oh, it could be any of the three people that was just letting in. Now you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing to your fellow Traitors. After we're a family. I thought we said we were going to work together. We said we were going to work together. So
yeah, I agree. And another thing is also just like, then you get mad in the turret for Danielle voting for you, but you put Danielle's name in some mess and whatever. So then I agree with you there, G. So then Carolyn ends up voting for Danielle, a throwaway vote, because nobody else was voting with her. Dolores votes for Tom, another throwaway vote. I was like, what is happening? And then Danielle votes for Rob, along with the 4 other people that vote for Rob, and 7 for Wes. And in this moment, and I'm like, bro, if Carolyn would have went for Rob and Dolores votes for Rob, it would have been tied. And I wanted to see what would have been the outcome if it was a tiebreaker.
Agreed. And honestly, the people who voted for Wes to go home are idiots.
Dumb.
Complete idiots. And who was the list of people again? Because we're gonna put this out there publicly. They all are idiots. Okay. The people who voted for Wes. Chriselle.
Boston
Ivar,
Rob, obviously. Ivar.
Boston Rob.
Sam.
Sam. Dylan.
Sierra. Gabby.
Sierra. And no, Gabby did not vote for.
Oh no,
she voted for Rob.
Gabby gets tops marks. I will give Gabby gets flowers of the day from me.
Yeah.
Gabby, you are
she
surprising.
Gets flowers from me too.
Yeah,
girl, you're kudos.
Brittany.
Kudos.
Brittany voted for Wes.
Brittany. All 7 of y'all are idiots. Yeah. Especially you, Sam, and especially you, Sam. Sam,
because he was like, "Oh, if you're there the next day, I'm gonna come for you." And look at you.
You thought we would forget? This is Reality Unloaded. Okay, we're going to unload on your nonsense. You thought we were gonna forget, Sam. So you forgot. Clearly, you
right.
Too wrapped up in your.
They all got amnesia in the house
and stuff like that, and you went and voted with Rob. What does he have? You think that tomato that you're eating was good, huh? That you made a good decision. You saw the food they were eating after, and Sam was just sitting there like I don't care. It doesn't matter. After you just said on national TV that you're gonna go after him, but you didn't. So you're a scaredy cat. You're a punk.
All right,
and you're an idiot.
So we get to Wes, obviously admitting to everybody he's a faithful, and he lets them know like, F y'all are dumb, I'm out. And again, I felt like maybe Wes didn't push back. Maybe he was ready to go home. I know that he does have like a newborn, and that is his first child. So maybe with like the filming of back-to-back shows, he was like, honestly, I don't care. Maybe he was fed up because also I could also see Wes being like, bro, like these people are not making the game fun enough.
You know what it was? He had that other show that he's on now with the worst cooks of America. That's why he had to go. He got that contract.
And I don't blame him. Like these people
he's booked.
Are idiots, honestly. So I
don't blame him
at that point either. Like
so that's the round table. Let's get into after banishment. So Britt is mad at Derek for lying to her. Derek tells her he thinks she's a traitor, and I'm dying at Britt's reaction like, oh, you want to call me a traitor? Like that. That's how it felt. And I lived for that moment because, like, let's get into it. Like, why are you so gung-ho about Rob? Like, why is that your bestie all of a sudden?
Are you trying to keep your enemies close? Like, the person that you know? Like, are you trying to but like I said, show me that. I need to see the storyline. And someone said that there's too many people, like 25 people for them to be, showing all these conversations. If you're going to put a certain scene or a clip in, there needs to be some sort of reference. There needs to be some sort of storyline flow. Like, or else why did you even put that there? You could have just saved it.
I will say too, in defense of Brittany, because Brittany said it, I don't know if it was her YouTube channel, a clip, I don't know. But I saw it online, and she was like, it was hard for her to get even a single camera because there was like 6 cameras on Tom, and she was struggling to get even one. So it's like that's production, full on production, because they aren't. It's like
why did you go with Tom, hunchback?
Yeah, like for what?
Sweaty ass for what?
Right. What? How many shots of his sweaty pits do you need? Like I'm tired from the pits to the shoveling the food. Like
and the
it's not
the
giving.
Theories.
Thank you. That too. No. Mm-mm.
I agree. So then we have Derek talking to Dylan, right? And then he like Brittany walks into the room, she peeps and she walks away. And Derek's like, listen, I don't feel safe. I'm gonna be surprised if I don't get banished at this point. But he lets Dylan be aware of this. So now I'm like, Brittany, you might have a target on your back if Derek ends up going. And I feel like considering how Boston, Baltimore, Denver, San Francisco Rob literally gets everything that he wants.
Ooh.
I feel like that's ultimately what's gonna happen, but maybe not. And there's a reason why. I feel like there's the main reason why Derek might be safe is because remember there were no traitors in his group, so they don't know who has the shield from that second group.
And also, Rob hopefully is not dumb enough to now also get rid of Derek, because 2 people said your name, Bob H, and then Derek, and then if you would have got rid of Derek, it's just gonna look even worse on you. But let's go back. I want to go back because I feel like we are jumping. At the round table, and I'm going back because Derek pulled Dylan aside right after the round table and was like, I think she's a traitor, and she was basically telling you before the vote, like, vote for Rob.
Oh,
and
yes,
there goes another thing, because they remember that little scene when they were trying to do the votes and everybody was last minute. Last minute, they were like trying to like add little comments and stuff, and I was just like, Brittany, why are you even speaking up? Don't say anything. You do your vote, however, fine. But if somebody else wants to vote for freaking Rob, let them, because I felt like Dylan was convinced by Derek, because like he said that I had to choose Wes or Derek, and he liked both Wes or Rob, and he actually liked both of them. That it made it a harder decision, because if it was anybody against Rob, I think, like I said, he was convinced.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because that was important too, which is another reason why I understand why Derek feels like, Brittany, like, you have to be a traitor, because why are you defending Rob so hard? But let's move back to the Traitors. They're now in the turret again at the end of the episode, and baby, they are mad as hell. Honestly, at this point, I'm like, it feels like the worst Traitors ever. And mind y'all, like, y'all are so experienced when it comes to reality TV shows and competition shows. So why are y'all playing this bad?
Let me also add on to that, because Caroline then again starts trying to go at Danielle, and now I'm noticing that Rob is adding on to it, because Caroline then blatantly is like, well, let's just murder Danielle. And obviously 2 survivor people versus Danielle, I'm not gonna back down either. You say you want to come for me, I'm coming for you too. You said, oh, you want to expose me, I'm exposing you too. And yes, all of my shit is based off of the turret. Now what? Like, now what are you gonna do about it? You got freaking 2 traitors coming after me. I'm blowing all y'all up. Like, I'm gonna be releasing the info too. So I didn't appreciate the gang up on Danielle. I'm gonna say that. I also don't appreciate how they were trying to make it seem as if Danielle did not keep to her word, when even Danielle said it herself. She said, that was yesterday when I was saying your name. Like, this is going back to the editing, y'all. That was yesterday when I said your name, and I didn't bring your name up today. Caroline went based off of whatever somebody finally decided to tell her today, which was Gabby, right? Finally decided to tell her that today. She been had that information. Why didn't she go to you before? But no, Caroline, you wanted to switch it up on Danielle and say, I did tell you about Jeremy. No, you did not tell her about Jeremy. You told her after the fact about Jeremy. So yeah, her reasoning, Danielle was throwing it right back at her. But Caroline started doing her stupid, like, I'm sorry, that's stupid, like, start crying and start acting so emotional and nobody listens to blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't appreciate that. Because you don't see Danielle crying up a storm or anything in the turret, or acting like somebody's, she doesn't know what she signed up for. You knew what you signed up for, that you begged to be, Caroline.
No, I completely agree, because like it's absolutely wild to me that what Danielle did was so offensible, which actually stems from Dolores throwing her under the bus. Dolores was the cause and the spark of it all. And then Danielle reacted and then it went to left. But it's so wild to me where it's like, yeah, all that happened yesterday. And who brought it up today was you, Carolyn, because you were running and chasing after every single person that was like, did you hear my name? Was it from Danielle? Did you hear my name? Was it from Danielle? Like, you're the one who's stirring and kicking up all this, and that's just making you look more guilty. Because again, if we even go back to the votes, Danielle didn't vote for you, babe. That's going to give her more
Right.
credit than you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, the spirit of petty. Like, you need to let it go. Like, you do not have the votes. You, like, Danielle and you are not in the prime targets right now. It's Rob. Let that go. Like, I don't get it. My mind, it's not understanding. Like, again, this is a game about numbers. You come from Survivor. You know about numbers. Why are you acting like this? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I
I
didn't
don't get it. I don't
understand
get
that
it
either.
at all.
And then, yes, music neurons. Carolyn, you haven't played this game, Danielle. And Danielle's like, you haven't played this game either. Like, what are we getting at? So obviously they're going back and forth. Boston Rob is like just staring at them argue back and forth, and I'm over here like, say something, dummy. But he's gonna interrupt and take control of the turret because clearly they don't have it together. They're at odds. And I'm just like, at this point, y'all keep pointing the blame at each other when this all stems from Boston Rob doing what he did to Bob the drag queen. This is why there's no trust against the traitors, because look at how he started this whole thing, because his ego needed to be the biggest one in the freaking turret, like, which is so irritating. And then at this point, I'm like, with them acting all crazy, I really do hope that they remember they cannot go for anybody in that group with Chriselle, Derek, Sam, Dolores, or Brittany, because they don't know who has the shield, unless that's something that we've missed, or maybe they'll bring that up in the start of the next episode. But if they go for somebody, let's say they go for Chriselle and she's protected, they're gonna look crazy. How are they gonna clean that up? Because nobody in that house has said Chriselle's name aside from Tom, and Tom is not that smart. Tom clearly was going after Dolores, so it's just not gonna make sense. So who do y'all think is who do y'all think they're gonna murder?
Ivar, he need to go. And that's my personal opinion.
I agree. I think it needs to be another man.
Gotta go.
I think it's gonna be Ivor, because of the fact that, like, Sam at least contributes to the challenges.
You know who I could see too is Sierra.
You think so? I think they might protect her.
Maybe it's possible. I'm just looking at the names available, and I don't think it's going to be Dylan. I don't think it's going to be Tom. It could be Gabby. That would suck if it was Gabby, but I hope not. And so for me, it's between Ivor and Sierra.
Okay. What about you, G? Who do you think is going to be murdered?
Ivar. I'm hoping it's Ivar or Sam, honestly. Like, they got to go. Granted, I know that they don't know who's in that third group, like who could have the shield. But yeah, like you said, a guy needs to go, and it needs to be
Ivor. I think it's gonna be Ivor.
I still cannot believe how Sam is still in this game. I still can't believe it. Like, even on a production level, like if I was on production, the man doesn't even speak. Like, it is one thing to be a bad faithful or a bad traitor, but to just be a bad person on TV, oh, that's the worst crime of it all.
Yeah,
you gotta go. Go.
You're boring as hell. Okay, Music Neurons wants to know, who do we think is playing the best game? I mean, clearly, I hate to give him his twos, but I might have to give it to Baltimore Rob, because he gets everything he wants and he goes unscathed.
I'm gonna give it to I'm definitely gonna say Rob, but I'm gonna give it to Brittany right now. And I was gonna say Gabby, but if Gabby didn't get influenced last week, I would have been like more on like her that she's playing a really good game. But she does get influenced. Granted, she didn't get influenced this week. I just felt like, especially like for your friend, like yeah, you got influenced a little bit way too quickly. But she definitely is playing a good game. So Rob, Brittany, Gabby. I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, Brittany gets my vote. I think she's playing the long game. We'll see if it gets her tripped up. But again, I also think, and this is why I don't think Derek's that great. Because again, Derek, with you trying to throw out these votes, what happened with you sticking to Rob? Just saying. I'm just saying. So yeah, for me, it's Brittany. I think she's playing the best game. I think I still am gonna give it to Gabby. I don't know. She's kind of she growing on me. I had no idea who she was. I did not watch her season of The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, but you know, she doing her 1-2s. She's doing her 1-2s.
I like Gabby. I like her confessionals. I think she's funny. I think she is very funny. So I do like Gabby. I don't think that she's gonna get murdered, but I do think it's gonna be a man, and I think it's gonna be Ivor. Or like y'all said, maybe Sam, but I feel like with Sam, they're gonna keep him because he can help with the challenges. Ivor, not so much. But yeah, y'all, that's it. That's all we got for y'all. If there's anything else y'all want to comment, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Happy Black History Month. Blackity black, blackity black, blackity black.
Blackity black, black.
Okay. Yes. Super happy is Black History Month. Let's hope it's a better month than January long ass was.
I have a question.
My gosh. Yes.
So, next week's preview, they're showing us that they're going to have to commit a murder face to face. That's obviously going to be after they commit the murder tonight. And then, the whole day of tomorrow is going to be them committing the murder face to face. Who do y'all think, if Ivar or Sam or whoever, because we don't really care, honestly, goes home? If Ivar goes home, who do you think they could potentially try to go and target for that face-to-face murder? Who could they go after to switch it up? Like, I think, like, at that point, we would need some sort of, like, shock factor. Not like an easy giveaway towards a traitor, but a shocking, like, okay, I really wasn't expecting this person to go home. Like, obviously we expect Ivar, Sam, like all those random people to go, but like if they went after maybe like a Brittany or they went after a Gabby or you know what I mean?
I think they'll go after a Bambi, if anything, to split the Bambi vote, even though they didn't vote the same this time.
They didn't.
So
maybe not.
My guess is either Dylan, Brittany, or Gabby. Is my guess. Because Dylan would shock me. I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, Dylan would surprise me as well. We shall see. How about you? Who do you think?
Who they would go after?
Yeah.
I think it needs to be somebody shocking. So I think it could be maybe like a Gabby or maybe a Dylan, but then I also feel as if there's gonna be maybe a new traitor added into the pit.
Oh, you think somebody's gonna get recruited?
Yeah,
that's my line of thinking. Because I was thinking they're going to recruit somebody, and if they say no, they're getting murdered.
That's what I thought. Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Mary said production wants someone who can give good TV.
Yeah, they need that. Because so far, I'm upset with the gameplay, but it is what it is. I'm still entertained to an extent, but I would like harder gameplay at this point. Like, I feel like people are being too passive, and they're going to end up getting murdered for being too passive at this point. But again, let's see if the traitors remember not to vote anybody or not to murder anybody from that group, because they're so high strung in their feelings right now. I feel like they might forget, but who knows? But that's it, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to follow us. Again, make sure to sub to the channel so you stay up to date with us. We will be here next week on Monday, same time, with the same faces. You already know, cute as ever. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, and have a good night and an even better week. Happy Black History Month. Okay. Bye.